Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done a test recording?
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Yeah.
This is your way of sneaking in. We've already started, haven't we?
Yeah.
Okay. I see what's going on.
Okay, folks. Thursday, who's your main? I am Jared, and this is my illustrious co-host. I said
How
illustrious
dare you.
last time.
Did you?
I think-
yeah, we got to think of new superlatives for each other. I'm the very tall Anthony.
Yeah, very, very handsome.
Handsome and intelligent.
Yes. Well,
The problem is neither one of us are like able to talk about ourselves. Like we can't compliment ourselves.
Yeah.
We're just like the very shifty Anthony.
shifty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very orcish like Jared.
The brutish,
Potato-esque.
the stubborn Anthony.
Yeah. Well, last time we were talking about scary games. We were talking about spooky games.
Yeah.
We had a list we were working from. I don't remember, but did we do our homework?
No, don't be silly.
Hey, I started playing Dead Space. I almost called it Dead Island.
That's true.
Fuck this.
That's true. And I did look, and I do own it, so I could download it.
Wait a minute, though. You were supposed to be playing Last of Us.
Oh, yeah. No, I was doing that then.
We actually were just watching him play, folks.
Yeah.
That's actually why. Well, it's not like we're late. We're late.
Yeah. What are they going to do about it?
We were supposed to start recording a while ago, and instead we were just watching him play Last of Us 2, which... where's the zombies? I felt like it was old Wendy's commercial. Where's the beef?
Yeah.
I don't know where we were at.
I'm really enjoying the game. I think I'm just getting into it. I'm starting with my stuff first. The selfish Anthony is talking first. The game is without a doubt, gameplay wise, 10 out of 10. The animations are incredible. The graphics are insane. The audio design is insane. The story is also there.
It is present. It's
It
a
is
story
also
in the
there.
room with us now.
Yes, it's over there.
The Last of Us 2 story can't hurt you, Anthony.
We'll see about that.
Well, so I did do a different kind of research. We were looking at some videos actually. I wish maybe I should link them to the viewers. I don't know, but some really interesting stuff. Another thing that was very interesting in the last I don't know, I'd say week or two. Our good buddy Lilith had been streaming pretty much every Silent Hill game except for 2. Since he played the remake of 2, he got really interested in the old Silent Hill games, and so he played Silent Hill 1, he played 3, he played 4, and then the last one I saw him playing was Origins, so hopefully he moved on to Homecoming. But it was really interesting watching someone so much younger than us go through games that we played when I was younger than him.
I think it's very hard to explain the headspace you have to be in when those games came out, because like for us, those games are groundbreaking. Those were the games that shook what it meant to play a horror game. And then if you go back and play it now, you're like, oh wow, these games are creepy, or like I even think frustrating would be an appropriate word to use, but like it's hard to see how much impact those games had looking back at them now, because like for us, they blew our minds. When I played I played Silent Hill, Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 3. Those games blew my mind on what horror was in a video game. Like when I played Resident Evil, it was scary, but it was a fun scary. It's like watching a horror movie and you scream and then you laugh with your friends or whatever. Silent Hill is like waking up in a cold sweat and being like, oh my gosh, I forgot my homework. And then it's like, wait, I haven't been in school in 10 years. And it's like, oh, it's okay. It's just a bad dream. Yeah, and there's just that like suffocating dread in Silent Hill, and it's so hard to replicate that, in modern terms, because we were terrified when we played those games. We didn't know any better, you know. So for us, or at least for me, yeah, those games were incredibly groundbreaking for me.
Man, and I just think about my first like truly scary game. I'm not going to count the ones I was talking to you about earlier, which I'll bring those up. But the first scary game that I played was Resident Evil 2, and that game scared the fuck out of me, man. Like we were kind of right there in the pocket of when zombies started to get really popular, and like that became you know how some people have like arachnophobia. Mine's like fucking zombies, man. And I was rewatching some of the footage from one, and like some of the way they move and the noise they make isn't really over. They haven't done anything to it really. It's just a guy going, and I'm just like, like, it scared me. Just watching the video, you know, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I can't believe I don't even know how I beat that game. Because I can remember the anxiety, like being in the safe room with the fucking good music. It's like, and you're like, oh, I only got fucking 3 fucking ink ribbons left. Gotta be careful with these saves. And then you're like, okay, I gotta go back out there. There's gonna be a zombie in the hallway because they fucking respawn like it's a fucking old Mario game. You fucking go off the screen, you come back, and the fucking Koopa's back, and you're like, you little bitch. But this time it's like, it's a fucking zombie. And you gotta think if you want to shoot it. I shot every single one. I was always like low on ammo. The first time that I saw freaking Lemon play through Resident Evil 2, he would just run past some zombies. I'd be like, well, you didn't kill it. And he's like, you don't have to kill every monster. And I was like, what? No. Are you serious?
I don't think that's true.
Not me. It's like, bam.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you, man. And you know, like, it's so hard to describe because fear is different in each person. You know what I mean? Like, you are afraid of zombies. They mean nothing to me. You know, I was playing that Last of Us game. I think I can respect the, you know, like if I'm going up against, like when I was going up against the human enemies, I was goofing off. You know, I was literally like diving around, shooting stuff, throwing Molotov cocktails, throwing bottles, doing all that stuff. But then when the zombies show up, it's like, okay, no more goofing off. This is time to be serious. You know, you need to fight tactically, or you're going to lose. I don't have that fear of zombies, and so it's impossible for me to relate to you on that feeling because I don't have that feeling. Whereas, you know, if we were to talk about the true scariest game of all time, Echo the Dolphin for Sega Genesis, and the fear that I have for killer whales, that's real fear. that's rational fear.
Yeah, well, that's like realistic. That's the, wait a minute. Zombie, I can understand that zombies aren't real, but they still scare the piss out of me, man. I don't know. It's too many Resident Evil games, too young, probably. But I do remember running back to Silent Hill, playing Silent Hill 1 for the first time. I just remember I liked it so much more than Resident Evil. Like you said, now it's not zombies. It was like these weird creatures. Like, I still get scared from some of them. Like, there's this, I can't remember what it's called, a leaper. I don't remember it. It looks like a gorilla. And the first time I heard that sound effect in the game, like, it sent a rush in me. I can still remember that. And then it jumped on screen and it jumps on you. And I was just like, wow! Oh, it's just like a gorilla or something? Like, shotgun will take care of that.
I think it's the uncanny valley. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the things that are just, like, you can almost recognize what they are, but it's not right. I think that's maybe what it is that's so scary. Because, you know, I can admit there's tension. Like, when I play those games, at least now as an adult, you know, as a kid, I was scared, you know, because it was just scary as a kid. But, like, playing through The Last of Us, it's not scary. Going back and playing Resident Evil or going back and playing Silent Hill now, for me, it's not that it's scary, it's that it's oppressive. You know, like, the horror is all around you, and then you see something, and it's like, oh, what was that? And then you can kind of make out what it is. And like you said, it's done intentionally. Those games are much more about psychological horror than, you know, like in-your-face horror. But I love that stuff. Like, to me, that's like going out and watching a cheesy horror movie. I love that stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I do love cheesy horror movies. I think you put it for Resident Evil 1, like, the cheesy writing kind of offset the horror of the game. And they were like these little reprieves in the true horror. because it really wasn't so much as like what was happening on screen during the cinematic sections, where it was just like the horror of like being in Raccoon City and being trapped in the police station, and just like an outbreak is occurring, and you have like fucking 2 bullets, and you're a terrible shot, Harry. Like, that was just way scary. Oh, I guess that was Resident Evil 2 I'm thinking of, not 1. 1 is you're in the mansion, and that was fucked. That was some scary shit too. Like out in the woods, you got chased by those fucking zombie dogs. Oh my god, why is it always fucking zombies and dogs and zombies and dog enemies? Stop.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's not cat enemies. That'd be even harder to hit. Like
Has there ever been a game
cat
with zombie cats?
You know, now that I said that, I don't know.
That'd be
like a fucking like regular cat, not like a tiger.
Yeah. That'd be freaky.
Zombie cat enemies.
Yeah, there you go. Hang on, folks.
Wait a minute. No, that was a bad Google.
Oh, okay. We'll do our own research and we'll fax it to you.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, wait.
No, wait. You fax it to us and we'll do something.
Yeah. Put in the comments below if you know of any zombie enemies that were cats.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know why we. Yeah. Well, you know.
Do movies count? Does the cat from? Okay. Well, I was gonna say the cat from Coraline. I
was thinking Pet Sematary.
No,
that fucking cat in that movie. What is getting off topic?
Yeah.
It's fucking
I don't
going
know. What do you want to
sideways
talk
in the
about?
movie. Shut up. It's talking about Silent Hill.
Oh.
Yeah, just watching the replay of those and getting the younger person's like modern gamer perspective and how they got pulled into the series from a remake, you know. And we was thinking about remakes this week, and I was thinking about them last week when we was watching our buddy, and then Zero was playing Metal Gear Delta, which I know isn't a scary game, but in that same vein, we were really thinking about, you and I were really thinking about how remakes like are a separate game. That it's like, to me, and I think you said this, or I don't remember, remake, not replace, you know. And so when you play a remake, if you really like it, maybe go back and play that old one, you know. Let's just say what we always say, like, get on our lawn, play these old games with us, see the respect for the old times, you know. That this is where the greats of gaming were made, the masterpieces of the time, and still are. And maybe they don't always hold up, but maybe, you know, get that perspective. It's good. It's good.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think, you know, remakes are made so that the general audience can play them now. You know what I mean? So if you were to go back and play Metal Gear Solid 3 for the PlayStation 2, it would be incredibly tedious to try to get that set up. You would have to find a way to convert that to a digital signal. You would have to either, you know, get a TV that is compatible with the PlayStation, or you would have to get a converter, and then the signal would look like crap because you're converting component cables into an HD signal, and it would look terrible. It would look stretched out. And so it's just a more convenient way for the general audience to play these games, you know, without an emulator or anything like that. And so while I think that is good in that you're getting games into the hands of people who wouldn't play them otherwise, you know, if the choice is don't play this game at all or play the remake, sure, go play the remake. Where you play the remake and you're like, wow, that was really good. I really enjoyed that. And then you go out and you're like, I wonder what else there is, you know, either in that series or what else have those developers made. And you just kind of go through the library and kind of immerse yourself in that genre or, you know, the series. And that's how I like to play video games. And so to me, that's what I hope happens to the people who play these remakes is they understand that they're not replacing the old game. They're just trying to get it to a newer audience. And then maybe half of that newer audience can go back and play the original and see how we experienced it when we played it for the first time.
I lost what I wanted to say. I don't know why. Yeah. It's like, yeah, you can't get that exact experience. I mean, you'd really have to track it down. you'd have to track down the CRTV and stuff like that to really get the full on of the original. But I think it's good to go back and see these games. You know, even if you're running at 60 frames and it shouldn't be, like that game ran at 12, like, and it was fine and we liked it. You know, like
Yeah, I mean that's the charm of the old games, is that they were fighting an uphill battle. You know, games shouldn't work. The games that we played growing up shouldn't have worked. And almost every single story that you hear from developers is like, yeah, we just had spaghetti code that we threw together. We don't know how it worked, but it did. Or in some cases, the effects that they were getting were the result of a glitch. And they were like, yeah, leave that in. That looks really cool. And then, you know, obviously you fix those glitches and it's like, oh, the game looks kind of lame now. Or not lame, but, you know, different. And so it's very hard to get that true to the artist's intent when you move up the generations. You know, some of these games are 20 and 30 years old, and it's like, well, what is the artist's intent from a game that's 20 years old? Are you supposed to interpret that, or are you just supposed to see it as a one-to-one, or you know, who's responsible for that? And so when these games get remade, a lot of the times the things that they're pushing are like, you know, oh, the pacing of this game was bad, so we're going to change some of the pacing of the game. And that's a quality of life improvement. That makes the game better, but it changes the game. And so you're not getting the same experience that you got, you know, and maybe the original developers had something in their mind when they did it. You know, yes, this is the wrong way to do it, but we did it that way for a reason. This is why, X, Y, and Z. So I don't know. I'm on the fence. I really like remakes because it gives better graphics, easier access. But also, I wish everybody would go to a disc replay and buy a PlayStation 2.
this is what I was thinking. I remembered. I've just thought this. I haven't really thought about it until just now. I used to really think games were just about the story, but it's the marriage of all the elements. The story, the writing, you know, the visuals, the music, and then the gameplay, which was like what we're talking about here. Like, we're talking about games. The gameplay is lost on a remake, possibly, maybe for like a more modern design, or maybe they just sprinkle in some modern, like, quality of life stuff, which I do like that. You know, I just recently, this is totally unrelated to scary games, but I just recently replayed Mario RPG and on the Switch, and they added all these quality of life stuff, and I'm like, oh, I really like that. But it just can't beat that fucking those original pixel graphics that Squaresoft made, you know. And it's just like, oh man, that was pretty. I liked that, but I like this too. So I like when they're both like these separate things, that I can love them both for their different qualities, you know. Like I wish I had played the Silent Hill 2 remake. I don't know if I got the cojones to play through the Silent Hill 2 remake just for this example, you know.
You said something that I really want to hit on here, because you're exactly right. Video games are the only medium where the person consuming the art impacts the art. So like, if you and I were to sit down and listen to an album, we can't change the music that we're hearing. Now you and I might feel different things when we hear the music. If we sit down and watch a movie, you and I might have different interpretations about what the artist meant by the piece, you know. But when you play a game, you are affecting the story. You are the one that is driving the story forward. If you decide to stand still and not move, that's your interpretation of the story, right? If you die, if you lose, that's your version of the story. If you speed run the game and you beat it in 4 hours instead of 10, that's your version of the story. And so you're exactly right. Video games are the only medium where that happens. And I want to jump in here because I'm really passionate about this idea, which is in Dead Space 1, the remake, they voice Isaac Clarke. They give him a voice. And so in the original game, he was a silent protagonist. And in my mind, one of the things that I thought was so cool about that game, like 90% of the dialogue happens over comms. So somebody is talking at you, and then you don't respond. You don't send anything back. He's the silent protagonist. In my mind, the reason why they did that was so that you would respond the player. So like, the game says their dialogue, Isaac Clarke doesn't respond, and then you, the player, because Isaac doesn't respond, that gives you the freedom to be able to speak. Like if we were on a Discord call and I was talking, you wouldn't talk, like a polite conversation. You wouldn't talk over me. But if it's radio chatter and I say something and you don't respond, that would be very weird. I would be like, hey, did you copy? Did you get what I said? But the game very intentionally is silent so that you, the player, respond to the dialogue. You say, if the guy's like, hey, good job killing all those zombies, the necromorphs. Now we need you to go down to engineering and fix the engine. And Isaac doesn't say anything. And you, the player, is like, down in engine, that's where all the zombies are. That's bull crap. I'm not going down there. It gives you the opportunity to speak for Isaac. And that gets lost when he is voiced because now he's speaking for you. So I don't know. That's my big rant on remakes, is that when you change something that massive to the story, it negatively impacts the story in my mind.
That's a really good because that's like my first impressions of Dead Space 1 as I'm starting up the remake is like I'm just like, Isaac, shut the fuck up, bro. Like you talking too much. Like like let's go. Like over I don't know. But like you said, like you're supposed to kind of be that character. I feel like it really takes me out of being Isaac. It feels like I'm watching Isaac then in those moments where he starts yapping. And I'm just like, oh, fucking stop yapping. I'm not as scared now because I'm not you. I don't care if you die. It's not me. And I don't know. The use of the silent protagonist, I've always been back and forth on throughout my entire gaming life, I feel like. Especially because games like, I grew up on games like Zelda and Metroid and just like, Nintendo games. Mario fucking doesn't even, great example, Mario RPG. Mario doesn't talk in that game. He just fucking pantomimes. It's really funny. But I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, it should be a silent protagonist. That works. And then other times I'm like, stop. Like, he should be talking. This is crazy. Like, why is this character not talking? It doesn't make sense story-wise. So I always think that's a really interesting one, especially since Dead Space is like you're by yourself. Like you get stranded away from the other two people that are alive, and you're trapped with all these fucking monsters. And what are you? You're just like an engineer. You're like, well, I don't know how to fucking fight. Like, what are we doing? Like, you're right there with Isaac. You're like, I don't know. Like, fucking grab this plasma cutter and fucking shoot somebody with that. I'll bet you that'll fuck them up. Like, I just. You get like that Doom feeling though. You're like, let's fucking rip and tear these motherfuckers until it's done. I do like Dead Space for that.
I'm so glad you said that because it drives me. Okay, the point of Dead Space 1, at least, is isolation. You are alone. Every single time you get a mission, it's somebody is sending you away from the group. So you are on one side of the ship, they are on the other side of the ship. You're supposed to be alone. And there's a psychological thing. I have no clue where I know this. This is just years of being chronically online. But like, there's that thing that says when you're in pain, swearing reduces pain, right? Or it tricks your brain into thinking that you're not in as much pain because you're able to verbally express, like you swearing is able to rationalize in your brain. Yes, this hurts, but swearing is making it better. Hearing Isaac talk makes the game not isolated anymore. It's you and Isaac. When Isaac is silent, we are isolated, both of us. I'm isolated from Isaac. Isaac is separated from the group. And so by him talking, he's rationalizing his isolation. He's making it be two people in the room rather than we are all isolated. And that drives me insane that they didn't. Like, how do you not understand that? That's the point of the game.
Yeah, it feels like we're here, me and you, Isaac, together, brother.
Yeah. And it's like, we'll do this. We'll kill all the zombies, and we'll beat the bastards of City Hall. That's not the point of the game.
Yeah. Some of my favorite moments, though, from Dead Space 1 really reflect, their greatest inspiration, Silent Hill. Like there's a really incredible video out. I think we've talked about this before. There's this interview with the creators from Dead Space and how they talked about how they like made the game and how Silent Hill was a big, influence. Resident Evil 2, obviously, like that I mean that really set some goalposts up for scary games. And we have examples of older scary games. I know last time we talked about Zombies Ate My Neighbors. And I was just telling you about this Friday the 13th game on the NES that I played as a kid. I'll talk about that in a minute. But it's like some of my favorite moments in Dead Space 1 are like when you take damage and Isaac screams in his fucking helmet and it echoes in the helmet, and like, or like when you go out into space and you're like, why is it so fucking, oh right, it's a fucking vacuum, it's space. I mean, those were some of the most deafening moments in that game where you were just like, oh, holy fuck, I could fucking die here. Like you start putting yourself in that scenario, like, would I fucking be able to go through this? Like, holy shit. I mean, what is an engineer in this Dead Space world? Like, is it just like a fucking worker, like a blue collar worker guy? Like, that's like us, you know, like just regular guys, Joe Schmo, you know, regular gals or whoever. It was just like terrifying. So when he starts yapping, it's like they put a fucking voice into fucking Samus or something. Because I'm brought straight over to the Prime series, like, and I know that game's not supposed to be scary, but that game was really in the helmet, you know, and really just like quiet and contemplative, and that's what Dead Space really felt like. It's like, and then you have these like crescendo moments of fucking terror where you're like fucking surrounded by two guys. You're like, holy shit, what the fuck? Bam, 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 bam. I still scream in those moments. Okay,
that to me, I think, is what set Dead Space apart. Was many games have good scary games have good graphics, have good level design, have good environmental design, have good character design. The sound design in Dead Space might be the best in any game ever. It is so terrifying that just like everything is visceral. Like when you kill an enemy and then you stomp on their body to get ammo from them, the crunching noise that comes from stomping on the bodies is so disgusting and so like rewarding at the same time. You know, it's like, I won.
That's
Give me
for
the
fucking
ammo.
scaring me.
Yeah,
Piece of shit.
take that. Take this. You know,
they most definitely put those in because you didn't have those safe rooms to like de-stress.
Exactly.
So you get to stomp them, and you get the prize, and also you feel fucking better because you fucking scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. Dead Space 1 is probably one of my favorite games, you know, top 10 games of all time. It's definitely in that list. I don't know where on that list it falls. So I think that's why I have such a visceral and strong reaction to the remake, is because I love the first game so much, and it was such a huge part of like my college life. I played that game, you know, I've talked about this before. I would get home from college and I would just do challenge runs. I'd get home on a Friday and I'd be like, hey, I'm playing Dead Space this weekend. I'm just going to play through the whole thing. And then, you know, me and my roommates would just stay up and pass the controller back and forth and play that game like over and over and over again because it was so good. Even replaying it and knowing all of the twists and turns and knowing where all of the enemies are, you still get scared. And it's like, it's because of that audio design. You know, it doesn't matter if you know that an enemy is around the corner, if it has really tense, dramatic music and you can hear its footsteps and it's clanging on the metal and you're just like, I know it's over there. My brain is rationalizing that it's over there. It's going to jump out at me. It's going to try to scare me. And then you step forward, it jumps out at you, you get scared, you jerk, you miss your shot, and it's like, dang it, I knew it.
See, and they did that. I mean, like just straight fucking copy and paste Silent Hill, right? Like, I know that something's going to happen there, and then nothing happens there. They did that too. They would build this suspense. That video too, where they're talking about that in Dead Space, is really interesting. I forget how they said it works, like program wise, in the original game, but I think it would like check if you were doing certain things, and then it would let the monster come out. It wasn't like, oh, this is a 100% program. This is how it happens. It's like if you're doing this in the room, and then you start to do this, then one comes out and then another one will come out and then you'll be flanked. And it was just like, I knew you fucking did that. I knew it. Like, that scared the fuck out of me. Or you're just shooting into the fucking void because you heard the fucking vent, like, or the vent like explodes out. Oh my God. And nothing comes out and you're like, bam, bam. Oh, fuck. what the fuck? Like that. Dead Space 1, very terrifying. Like you said, you know what? That's another thing you said. I really liked it. You said, well, that's on my list of best games of all time. That would be a fucking interesting list to see, because I wonder how many crossovers we'd have. I mean, we obviously know Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's top for
like,
me.
That's easy.
Yeah.
That's an easy one. We already did an episode. Everybody knows. And if you haven't seen it, and don't watch it if you're trying to fucking not spoil the game. It's a big spoiler.
True.
You can go back and watch it. I mean, maybe we're spoiling stuff about games in this one. I don't know. But anyway, I was going to tell you about that Friday the 13th game that I played as a kid. It's a pretty scary game. You play as like the camp counselors while Jason Voorhees is like running around the map, like, trying to kill the kids. And you get I think it's like 3 or 4 camp counselors you can swap between. And you have to swap between them and try to catch Jason and beat his ass 3 times. Or, he'll kill one of your counselors. Those were like your lives, you had 3 and then 2 and then 1. And then like, we were just looking at like the wiki there to jog my memory. And it was talking about how they had different stats. Like each counselor had different stats on how fast they could do stuff, like run and jump and stuff. And then when you would catch him, you would do this like punch out style fighting where he's on one side and you're on the other, and he might kill you. Or if you don't switch to the counselor that's getting attacked, then they'll die. It was kind of scary, actually. I was scared. It was really weird because it had a day-night cycle, and I'm pretty sure like zombies came out of the ground. Stuff like that. It's like fucking weird. That was weird. I don't know why they added that. That's not in fucking Jason. Friday the 13th, right?
I don't think so. No, that's new. Yeah,
I'll wake my wife up and ask her. She's the slasher in our house. She fucking. All right, we'll talk about that another time. She going to sleep watching slasher movies. Honey. But I wanted to mention that other game that I thought was really scary as a kid, which was Shadowgate. My dad used to put it on top of the fridge because we weren't allowed to play it, but you can get a stool. You can play it. So we would play that, and it had really like the music in that game was terrifying. And it was like, now it's very comical. Like you go to play it, like it's like a point and click adventure, and you're going through this like castle. I don't remember the exact story, but you're going through this castle, and you have to like solve puzzles to get through. And if you fuck up, then a trap will go off and kill you, and then it describes how you die. And they're really absurd. And like, so one of the easiest ways to die if you can't read and you didn't read the booklet was you didn't keep your fucking torch lit. So it would go out, and then your character would stumble in the darkness and fucking die. And it was really elaborate how and then you fell and you busted your head and blood came out and you died. And you were super fucking dead. And it was just like, or like you go to step over the ooze and you melt and you scream as you're melting, as your blood is boiling. And it's like, what the fuck? That game was awesome.
Yeah.
There's a remake on Steam. I know it. I should buy it, but I don't want to. It's too scary. You got any old games like that you played? I don't know. I know we talk about Resident Evil and stuff, but
I'll jump in and do this story because your brother is actually the one who bought this game for me, and we played it together. But the game is called Obscure, and I want to say this was an old PlayStation 2 game. It again got ported over to Steam, and then because the original game is like $100. If you were to go on eBay and try to buy it, it's like $100. But then if you go on Steam and try to buy it, it's like 90 cents. It's ridiculous how. Anyway, I'm going to go on a whole spiel but it's much like what you were talking about, where the point is you're 4 kids, and I think it's kind of like a Silent Hill situation, but in a school, and you're trying to escape. But the cool twist is if one of your characters dies, they're gone. And each one of them has a unique ability that only they can do. And so it gets harder and harder to escape as your players die off. And so if you're able to keep everybody alive, you're able to keep progressing through the traps and get out. But, like let's say the jock dies. Well, now you don't have somebody that can move like big, heavy objects. And so you have to be much more careful about what rooms you go into, and you don't want to get trapped because you don't have a way of moving obstacles out of the way or barricading doors or anything like that. And so that was just a really cool. I really don't remember much about the the story. I literally just remember playing it with your brother when you guys lived in that apartment together. And so we would play that.
Oh yeah.
And I wish I could remember more about the story. I'm desperately. I know there were 4 kids, and you were like trapped in a school, and there were like zombies, but not like zombies. Much more like Silent Hill zombies. You know, the disfigured ghouls, I guess. And if any of your characters died, they were no longer selectable. So you could rotate through the 4 characters, and then whoever was in the front, that's who you were controlling, and then everybody else just kind of followed along. And when one of them would die, you just left their body there, and then you kept trying to escape. It was really weird. I think
that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, I think
you got to play the fucking teenagers in every slasher ever, but you get control them. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a really cool idea for a game. I love that.
Yeah, it was.
I'm too scared for me.
It was like the stereotypical like jock, cheerleader, the nerdy girl, and then the nerdy guy, and they all had different things that they could do to like interact with the environment. But then if they died, you no longer could interact with that thing anymore. So that was locked off as you went. Which it was a really cool idea, but I remember us dying all the time, and it was like, well, we got to start over because we can't progress.
We lost the guy who can unlock doors. Piss.
Try again.
Well, Jill's dead.
Master of lockpicker.
Oh fuck.
Jill sandwich.
The one that I was thinking about here on your list. He's got a list, folks.
Oh yeah.
For scary games. I'm interested of you talking about Dead Rising, because that's a Capcom series, right?
Yeah.
I never played it. I watched Lemon play it. I was always watching him play scary games because I don't want to fucking play them. And so I don't really remember a whole lot about them, but I think that they should be talked about here because I know that there's a few of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think there's 4, but I think the 3rd one is locked on Xbox. So I think I've only ever played 1, 2, and 4. But they're incredible games. They're not intended to be scary. So it's much more campy zombies, if that makes sense. And the point is you play as Frank West, and you're a photographer, journalist type guy, and you get dropped into a mall. I'm talking about the first one here. You get dropped into a mall that is infested with zombies, and your job is to record evidence and then escape after like 3 days or a week or something like that. And then, depending on the pictures that you take, that's like your score at the end. And you run around the mall is completely filled with zombies. There's like 10,000 zombies. You can't kill them all. There's just way too many. And so the point of the game is you go around and you try to save as many people as you can in the time frame that you have. And so it's a very fun time management zombie game, if that makes sense. So you can kind of like get the best. You can find the optimal route and play the game the optimal way, or you can do what I did, which I had no clue what I was doing. So you just run around and have fun. You break into like the food court, and now you can fight with like a big hot dog or something like that. You just have these crazy, ridiculous weapons. And then as you progress through the game, you unlock the ability to like upgrade your weapons. And so you would go into like the hardware store, and you would attach, like a chainsaw to nunchucks, and now you've got chainsaw nunchucks. You could ride around in like the little segways, and you could attach like barbed wire to the segways and run the zombies over. It was just ridiculous. The combinations of things that you could do were absolutely insane. They were amazing. It was a very fun game.
Capcom once again setting like some precedents for scary games. The one thing that I really remember from this, the only like anecdote, is there was like a fucking reference to Mega Man Legends in it with the Trons or whatever, the Tron with the Lego man hat they had. And I just remember, bring back Mega Man Legends, Capcom, what the fuck?
No.
No, that game, you know what? Mega Man Legends should be on this list, actually, as a matter of fact, because that game is fucking scary. It's not scary when you're in town, but when you go into the vaults, like, it's fucking scary. Like, you're like over the shoulder in these hallways that you can't really see what the fuck's going on, and then you're going into these really dangerous vaults that are filled with these like archaically rusted out fucking robots that are there to kill anything that comes in, and they're like wild, and you're oh man, and that game had some soundscape stuff going on where you're like, well, I hear something around the corner. It's like, and then you come around the corner. It's like, whoop, whoop, whoop. And you're like, oh, shit. You're like, I'm just here for the loot. What the fuck? you got to aim and shoot them. I mean, Capcom, you know what I'm saying? Like, goddamn. You know what? So that was another anecdote here about Dead Rising. It came out, I remember, because I was watching Lilith play Silent Hill Origins, and he was talking about how like you could just pick up anything and use it as a weapon, and he thought it was kind of ridiculous. I was like, well, anything's a weapon if you're willing, you know, joke, haha, funny. I never played Origins, so I was watching him play it, and then I was like, you know what this kind of reminds me of, that you can just pick up any kind of weapon, is Dead Rising. And sure enough, I go to look up when these games came out, and Dead Rising 2006, Silent Hill Origin 2007. They were like, well, we got to get in on this fucking Capcom thing, you know. I don't know if that's true. This is speculation.
No, I think you're right.
Put down in the comments if I'm wrong.
I think you're right. I think that's one of the things that made Dead Rising series so fun, was because you never get bored of using a weapon. Sure, some are better than others at, you know, dealing with a certain task. And there are boss zombies that you have to kill, and those you do need to have a serious weapon. But you can literally pick anything up in those games and use it as a weapon. Like I was saying, you can hit them over the head with a hot dog, and that'll like at least stun them, you know? So yeah, I agree. I think those games, it's much more about the silly factor than it is about being scary.
Yeah. And when you were talking about 3 days too, that really takes me to another game, in my opinion, that was kind of spooky, especially the intro, and that's Majora's Mask. You only had 3 days to like save the world or whatever, and the intro to that game is kind of terrifying. Like, you're riding through the forest on your horse, and then this fucking little bastard ass fairy thing finds you and steals your horse, and then curses you into a Deku, which is like a leshy tree thing. And you have no idea if you're ever going to be able to get turned back from that. You lost your fucking horse. You were looking for your like fairy friend. And you're like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. That game had some, I think a lot of the stuff that made, Dark Souls scary came from some of the scariness that, just like the off kilter characters where they're just like smiling at you and not saying anything, and you're just like, or just making a weird noise, and you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you, scary masked salesman? He's like, no, it's Happy Mask. I'm like, it's scary, you're scary, you're scaring me, your fucking weird smile.
Don't like it.
Is there anything you want to add to this one? I know you got a long list here, and we've only touched on some of it.
This list is huge. I'll jump in here and talk about this game real quick, because I do think it deserves a mention, which is Graveyard Keeper. And it is how do you describe this? It's kind of like a Stardew Valley clone, if you will. A Harvest Moon clone, if you will.
It's a cozy game.
It's a cozy game.
This is for Foxy.
It's a cozy game. There's a slight twist. So this game does have automation, which I think was something that was lacking from Stardew Valley. So if you want automation, it's in Graveyard Keeper. The twist is that the automation comes in the form of zombies. So you can essentially what happens in the game is you die right at the very beginning of the game. You're in our current world and you die, and instead of dying and moving on, you see a strange man and you get taken to this strange place, this like other world, and he's like, yeah, I need you to be the keeper of this graveyard. And you're like, why? And he's like, I don't know, I don't remember. And so you're like, okay, well, whatever. A body shows up. There's a talking donkey who shows up and drops off a body, and you take it down into your workshop and you exhume the body. You take all of the organs out, and then you take him into the graveyard. You dump his body into the graveyard and you bury him. And the game's like, that was terrible. You did a terrible job. And you're like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. And so the entire game is you actually figuring out how to do a good job of burying souls and putting them to rest. and it raises the level of your graveyard. And then just to the side of that is your house and your farm, and that is 100% a clone of Stardew Valley, where you have like bees, you have garden plots, you have a workshop, all of that stuff, and you do all of that to make your graveyard better. And it was an insane game. It was incredibly fun. It was an incredibly long game, which was surprising. I think the story lasts like 60 or 80 hours or something crazy like that. It takes a very long time.
Holy fuck, I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah, it was an insanely long game.
I think I bought that game for you.
I think you did. I think it was one of those things where you're like, "Hey, this game's a couple bucks. Here you go. It's got
happy birthday."
Yeah, it's got dead stuff in it. You'll like it." And I was like, "I do. I do."
Fucking necromancer. Yeah. You make one more necromancer. I'm gonna play Stardew Valley. Bees and necromancer. Stop.
He lied. It was very fun. There's a lot of pop culture references, which I don't really like that in games, but I thought this game, it was funny. There's a reference to The Witcher in it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it was
my friend.
Yeah.
That's cool. We'll do our more homework for next time. I definitely want to talk about Parasite Eve, and I've tried to beat that game so many times as a kid and as an adult, and I always play it wrong. So maybe I think it's a fairly short game. Maybe I'll try to knock that out this week. And keep putting off Rebirth as long as I possibly can and procrastinate it until fucking December.
Do not. I need you to understand. So I beat Rebirth. It's sitting on my homepage on my PlayStation, like begging for me to start hard mode. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to start hard mode until you start your playthrough of Rebirth, so we can play through together, and then we end at the same time, and then we can talk about it at the same time. I'm like,
you're like, stop,
chomping at the bit to start talking about this game. And he's like, I'm gonna play Mario RPG. I'm gonna drive to your house and put the game in, and I'm gonna make you play it.
It only took me 20 hours. Well, I think maybe less than that.
I'll give you 20 hours.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, he's going to kill me off screen, folks. So we'll catch you next time on Dragon Ball. So who's your main? What's it called?
I don't know. Do you want to do the outro?
Dragon Ball, see ya. That's what it was. I remember.
I remember.
Yeah, well, you do it. You say bye. You say.
Bye. No.
Wait. Come back.
See ya.